Hey, welcome to Little Hollow Homestead. If this is your first time, welcome. If you've seen us before, welcome back. If you look behind me on the mountain right there, you see that white stuff. That is an indicator that it's time to plant garlic. Another few indicators are the irrigation ditches are dry. I've turned off my drip irrigation system on my garden and my lawn sprinklers, and things are starting to point towards garlic planting season. So we're going to get doing that today. I'll take you along. So you can see I got my garlic all peeled. We've got Purple Haze and we have Magic, both hardneck varieties of garlic. I have 111 bulbs of, or cloves of Purple Haze, 67 Music. I'm gonna soak them in a gallon of water, a tablespoon of baking soda, and then follow the directions on this organic fertilizer and let them soak for up to a half hour while I go prep the garden bed. So if you look out here in my front garden bed, this is where I grew a bunch of spaghetti squash. Tried growing zucchini, didn't go too well with the deer. But I've got Russian sage that I planted in here years ago that are kind of taken over. So I'm going to remove this Russian sage and we're going to convert this into a garlic bed. Well, there's the after. I removed all this Russian sage. And if any of you are tempted to ever grow this nasty stuff, you might want to think twice. Unless you've got an area that you want it to just go wild, because that's what it's going to do. Look at that nasty root system. Every one of these clumps. It's a big old nasty root system. Great for keeping out weeds, lousy for growing vegetables. So I cleared off a little more than I thought. I probably won't need this much for garlic, but we'll save the rest for onions in the spring. So now that we've got our bulbs all soaked, ready to go, we'll just drain this water off. Keep it in the garden, no sense wasting good fertilizer. And we've got our garden, or our garlic bed rather, all laid out, ready to go. I'll lay these in rows, 6 inches apart. Garlic hates competition. So if you plant them too close, you're gonna get smaller bulbs overall. So the idea is to get the biggest bulbs possible, right? So that's what we're aiming for. And let's get going. Go down about 2 to 4 inches. Let's call it 3. I'm probably going to be battling these little runners, these little tubers from the snow on the mountain for a few years. But we'll keep ahead of it and do the best we can. You don't want the garlic to get crowded out. So yeah, we'll just keep going. I'll just mark my rows as I go. They're not going to be straight. They're just going to conform to the edge of the garden. And then I'm going to leave enough space on the outside that right along the edge here, I'll plant some zinnias. Just to pretty it up a little bit and make it look nice. Always good to have flowers around. So we're going to get going. We'll get this garden bed planted and call it a night. To better illustrate what I'm doing, plant these 6 inches apart, and then I come in between 6 inches, 6 inches. That way you can maximize your space. So that better illustrates what I'm trying to do here. So with these bigger bulbs and the white bulbs, you might be able to see the pattern a little better. Take a shot of these before I actually put them in the ground. And then, after I get done, I'm gonna hit them with just a good balanced fertilizer. And then once the leaves fall off all this oak brush, I'll take and rake all these oak brush leaves over on top of them, and that will insulate them for winter. And then of course I'm going to get a couple of stakes and I'm going to mark each row so I know which one is Purple Haze and which one is the Music garlic. So yeah. And then garlic planting will be over for 2023. We'll harvest around, mid-July sometime, we hope. probably goes without saying, but a garlic clove has a root end and a sprout end. Garlic is directionally challenged. If you plant it that way, it has a heck of a time growing. You won't get a very big bulb. So it's really important to get this root nub down into the soil. Whoops, forgot where it was. Yeah, see, almost made a mistake there. And that's it. Garlic is fairly easy to grow. Just takes a long time. What is it, like 8 months or so before you harvest? But it's usually the first thing that pops up in the spring. So it's always rewarding when you see those little sprouts pop through the surface of the soil. We live at the bottom of the canyon, and boy, let me tell you, over the years of the ice ages or whatever, we sure got a lot of rocks washed down in the bottom of this canyon. Oh, no grasshopper. Hello, buddy. Wants to commit suicide. So once we get these planted, we're going to want to water them in real good. Don't want them to get soggy, but you just want to keep them wet during the winter time. So if you have a period with no snow and you start to see the top of the soil drain off or dry off, hit them with a little bit of water. You don't want them to dry out during the winter time. So you can tell I cleared off a lot more ground than I needed for my garlic. But this will be a big onion bed in the spring. Won't it, Stella? Yes, we're going to plant onions right there. If you watch my video from growing onions here this summer, all this Russian sage I just took out really prevented my onions from getting very big. It really blocked the sun. So all this Russian sage is going to go, and we're going to make this into a garden bed. This is a good start. Right, Steady? And that's all there is to it. We need to mark it so I know where my stakes are going to go. So there you go. Can't remember the numbers, but we've got probably, what, almost 200 cloves. Maybe not quite 200 cloves. I'll do the math later. Anyway, we got a load of garlic in here. Why hardneck this year? I've always grown soft neck, but because we are in a northern climate, it does better in the colder climates. So we're going to give it a shot this year. Plus, as they grow the scapes, I really want to harvest the scapes and use those in cooking and give those a try. They don't store as well, but that's okay. I think the trade-off's going to be worth it. I think the flavor is going to be better. All in all, I think it's better garlic to grow in my climate. So that's the plan. We'll find out in the spring how well we did. So until next time, thanks for stopping by, watching me plant some garlic. We're going to spread a little fertilizer on here, maybe rake it over just a little bit, make sure we get enough soil over all these cloves, and we'll wait for the leaves to fall off and mulch them real good for the winter time and let them sit and marinate through the cold winter months, and look forward to them popping up in the spring. So until next time, thanks for stopping by. We'll catch you on the next one. Almost forgot, we got this good fertilizer right here that we soaked our bulbs in. No sense letting that go to waste. A little gooey in the bottom. Temporary marker.